Chapter 117 Logan POV Are those saffrons? Father demands, gesturing at the white underwear that's half hidden in the bush. I'll check. Beta steps forward, his nose twitching as his face moves closer and closer to Saf's panties. For a few seconds, I stay frozen in place, watching him in horror, and then I rush him from the side. My hand intercepts his muzzle while my shoulder connects with his side, sending Beta flying. He yelps in surprise and lands on his side before sliding across the grass. When he finally comes to a stop a few feet away, he looks up at me in surprise. What the goddess? Explain yourself, Logan, Father demands, his eyes narrowed in suspicion. I'm not letting him smell my mate's panties. I block them from view. You know, you could have just said so. Beta chuckles, getting to his feet. He shakes dust and loose pieces of grass off his brown fur and sits down on his haunches. There was no need to attack me. I didn't attack you, I mutter. What my son means to say is sorry. Father stares at me pointedly. Then he crosses his arms and growls. Well, go on. We don't have all day. Oh. My cheeks flush as he gestures at the panties, and I realize he expects me to smell them. I take a step toward the bush and tentatively reach forward. My fingers almost graze a scrap of white fabric peeking out from the bushes before I stop. I can't do it. I'm not some creep who smells girls' panties, not even if that girl is my mate. Well, Father snaps. Logan, either you smell the evidence, or I will. I gasp. Then, I cringe as I try to get the mental image of my father smelling my mate's panties out of my head. Stop embarrassing him, James. Mother clicks her tongue at father. Caitlin snorts and covers her mouth with her hand while Beta's chuckle echoes in my head. It has to be done, Anna, father tells mother softly. Then I'm sure either Caitlin or I would be happy to do it. No, I cry as my mind conjures up the mental image of mother burying her nose in Saf's panties, too. Next thing you know, they'll be suggesting we all pass the panties around so we can take turns smelling them. I'll do it. I square my shoulders and turn my back on the others, blocking their view of the scrap of fabric. It feels soft and silky against my thumb and index finger, and I give it a gentle tug. It starts to dislodge from the bush, but before I can figure out what shape the fabric forms and whether or not my mate wears a thong, I spot something else near the ground. What are you doing now? Father demands that I abandon the panties and squat down to take a look. It's a sneaker, I cry in relief. I let out a whoosh of breath I hadn't realized I'd been holding and grabbed it. I hold it up like a trophy while I search for evidence of its twin. We don't have time for this. Father snatches the sneaker out of my hand and inhales deeply. It's definitely saffron's, but it mainly smells like Jess. The girl's been missing 3 days, and Saffron goes and steals her shoes. Of course not. Mother huffs. Saffron didn't have any shoes, so Jessica was kind enough to lend her a few pairs. What do you mean she didn't have any shoes? Father barks. I would have noticed if the girl were barefoot. Her shoes had holes in them. Mother rolls her eyes. So did her clothes. Sometimes I don't know where you're looking, James. Her clothes looked just fine to me. Father scowls at mother. She glares back, eyes blazing, and I cringe. My parents' fights always start out all innocent. First, they get mad, then it turns into a shouting match, and next thing you know, they're in each other's arms. I've been traumatized by it enough times that I'm probably scarred for life. No guy should have to see his parents wild and very public. Make-out sessions. Ever. Guys, I shout to distract them. I would have noticed if Saffron's clothes had holes. My words have the desired effect. Since I've agreed with father, this momentarily distracts mother, who turns her attention to me. Her expression softens, whatever trance she was in, with father forgotten. Really, Logan. She sighs in exasperation. What? I think back to the first day I met Saf and those hot, baggy clothes she was wearing. I was way more focused on her body than the clothes covering it, but I would have noticed holes. I definitely would have noticed holes, especially if I could see through them to what lay beneath. Her clothes looked fine. Everyone at school would have noticed if they didn't. Zara lent her a few things to wear to school. Mother shakes her head. I told Saffron I'd take her shopping this weekend so we can pick up a few more things. The girl should have her own things. That won't be necessary. Father turns the sneaker over in his hand. She ran away, and she's probably never coming back. She didn't run away, I shout. Then what do you call this? Father points at the evidence. She just shifted and went for a run. I'd have to agree with Logan, Mother adds. Although the way you've been treating that girl, not this again, Father growls. He starts to bend down, and I cringe as I realize he's about to smell Saf's panties. To my relief, he bends lower and searches under the bush instead. Speaking of clothes, there aren't any here. The lilac dress I bought her, Mother whispers. My heart hammers in my chest as I remember the silky purple dress Saf was wearing. Father's right. It's not here, and I don't dare wonder why. I'm right. You'll see. Father tosses the sneaker to Beta. Sam, can you track her from here? Beta inhales deeply and jumps to his feet. He turns in a circle, sniffing the ground around us, and then takes off into the forest. This way. Shift, Father orders, and we all lose our clothes and follow. Beta has to sniff the ground every few feet, which slows him down considerably, allowing us to catch up. He leads the way further into the forest, Father close on his heels and Mother and I bringing up the rear. Caitlin, she calls suddenly, and I look around. I can't even remember when I last saw her. Was she in the clearing the whole time? Did she shift when we did? Or did she just go home? I wouldn't put it past her. One time, she walked out in the middle of her shift at Joe's Pizza because she somehow forgot she was working. Coming, Luna. To my surprise, Caitlin sounds like she's almost directly behind us. Mother and I were slow to wait for her while Father and Beta widened the lead. Caitlin, go catch up to Alpha, Mother orders as soon as she comes into view. Yes, Luna. Caitlin speeds up and races ahead. I start to give chase, but Mother intercepts me and slows her pace. Don't mind your father, Logan, she says fondly, keeping her voice low so the others won't hear. You know how he is. A pain in the flank? I ask, and she snorts. No. And your father deserves a bit more respect, don't you think? Mother's tone is light and filled with remnants of laughter. I know he's a little hot-headed, but it's all part of his charm. Charm? I mentally roll my eyes since I can't actually pull off that trick in wolf form. Is that why he accused my mate of betraying our pack? Mother sighs. Your father's been through a lot. It makes him a good alpha, but it also tends to cloud his judgment. I know. I sigh. You don't believe Saf would betray us, do you? Of course not. Mother's voice doesn't hold a sliver of doubt. I like your mate a lot, Logan. Saffron's a really sweet girl, and she's been through enough. She doesn't need us to make it worse. Tell that to Father. I'll talk to him when we get home. Right now, let's focus on finding your mate. Then we'll have a nice chat and sort this whole mess out. Thanks. We speed up and catch up to Caitlin, urging her to pick up her pace. Mother flanks her on the left while I take her right, and we perk up our ears to help us follow Father and Beta. The path we're on is familiar, and I realize where we're going long before we get there. It's the clearing. That same clearing the girls were in when they got attacked. I flash back to Jasper kneeling next to Zara and to Saf's bleeding, battered wolf. Then, I remember the rogues, with their throats torn out, and wish I could tear them out all over again. Logan? Mother asks in concern and lets Caitlin pass so she can move to my side. It takes me a second to realize that I'm baring my teeth and that my wolf is emitting low growls. I force myself to relax and put my feet one after the other as they bring me closer to the clearing. We're almost there when Father and Beta pull up fast, skidding to a stop as they're about to exit the forest. Caitlin crashes into them, which would be hilarious if we were anywhere else but here. I expect Father or Beta to at least reprimand her, but they don't even glance her way. Their eyes are locked on something or someone up ahead. Saffron. Maybe she came here hoping it would jog her memory. My heart leaps, and I rush forward, only to stop again when the clearing comes into view. I finally see who it is the others are staring at, and it's definitely not Saffron. Chapter 118. Two wolves stare back at us from the clearing. My gaze immediately locks on the older one, who's cowering behind his companion. He's around father's age, give or take a few decades. That's as good an estimate as I can make, since it's nearly impossible to tell an adult's age in wolf form. What isn't hard to tell is that he's clearly not the one in charge. He's trembling, his fear evident as he moves further back behind the much younger wolf. It's hard to catch his scent at this distance, but his face and part of his right side stick out, so I can identify him by sight. His fur is grey, so light you might almost call it silver. He reminds me of someone, and suddenly, I realize who. What have you done to her? I shout over the link. The urge to tear the silver wolf to shreds makes me tremble with rage. I let out a loud growl, and he jumped in response. Where are the girls? Father demands. He steps forward, teeth bared, growling menacingly. I let out a growl of my own and followed suit. I try to move to father's side, but mother and Beta cut me off and stand between me and the rogues. I know it's protocol, every pack wolf's first duty in battle is to protect the future alpha, but it's still torturous to hide behind everyone else like some coward. Well, everyone except Caitlin. She's slowly backing away, and I shake my head in a silent order to stop. Don't know what you're talking about, the younger rogue says. His fur is jet black, and his eyes are piercing yellow-green. He's not yet fully grown, but he's close, and I would place him around my age. He regards us casually and then licks his paw like he hasn't a clue how much danger he's in. I'll pretend to believe you, father growls, if you can explain what you're doing on Packland. Actually, we're not on Packland. The younger wolf snickers, actually snickers. And the worst part is, he's partly right. He's technically sitting just outside the border, but it's only a technicality. Stepping within feet of Packland without invitation is still a huge offense. I bare my teeth in warning, and the timbre of father's, mother's, and Beta's growls create a symphony that would send even the bravest wolf running. The silver wolf quickly backs up, but the young wolf doesn't even flinch. Even though I'm guessing he's around my age, he's got more confidence and arrogance than an older alpha. His voice booms across the clearing, and the way he moves on to licking his other paw shows a complete lack of respect. What are you doing here? Father demands, advancing until the younger wolf finally sits up and pays attention. I have come here on official pack business. What pack? Father demands like he's actually buying this crap. They're not from a pack. I glare at the silver wolf. I am Alpha Daniel of the Silver Pack. The young wolf's gaze locks on mine in obvious challenge. There is no silver pack. I smirk. In wolf form, that amounts to bared teeth, but my meaning is clear. Our pack may be new and small, but we will not be bullied. Daniel bares his teeth right back, but he does it in a show of aggression. Bullied? Father shouts. You're on our land. Once again, alpha pattern, Daniel replies casually, we're not on your land, we're outside it. I will not stand this insolence. Tell me what you are doing here this instant. Fine. This time, when Daniel bares his teeth, it's in a smirk. I am here to challenge you for the title of Pack Alpha. My jaw drops in surprise, and mother gasps. Beta and father both growl at the direct challenge, but I can tell they're as shocked as the rest of us. You have no ties to this pack and no claims to the title. I hold my breath, waiting for Daniel to claim he's some cousin we've never heard of and that the title is rightfully his. He doesn't. Instead, he just chuckles. You need grounds to issue a formal challenge, father snaps. The Wolfsbane Luna will not stand for it. You have wronged a member of my pack, and that gives me grounds to challenge. I have wronged no one, and two wolves don't make a pack. Say what you like, but a wolf can challenge an alpha who wronged him or elect another wolf to challenge on his behalf. I have wronged no one, father repeats. You have wronged this man. He turns to look at the silver wolf, who whines in response. Father looks at him, too, then tilts his head in confusion. Unless you can produce his daughter, and no harm has come to her, I will have my challenge. I start to explain. Then, it's like something clicks, and father advances on the silver wolf with a growl. You know, good son of a, do not insult us further, Daniel shouts. This man is Saffron's father and guardian, or he was until you took her from him. He saved her from him, I shout. He took a 17-year-old girl prisoner because her father couldn't pay a measly $10,000. How dare you? I shout, trying to get past Mother and Beta. Saf's not a prisoner. She's happy here. The way I heard it, Daniel interrupts. This loving father had his daughter ripped from him and turned into a pack slave. Mother growls in outrage. How dare you? She shouts. She's part of our family. Then you went before the Luna and gained legal custody of her? Daniel asks, getting to his feet. I didn't think so. Now, bring her here, and if she tells me she was treated well, I will withdraw my challenge. You're playing a dangerous game. Father shouts. What's to stop us from destroying you on the spot? Oh, did I forget to mention? Sarcasm laces Daniel's voice, and I growl as my wolf urges me to tear into him. I called the wolfsbane Luna. You what? Mother gasps. Just got off the phone with her. Daniel shrugs. She would like to speak with you, Patton. With Saffron, too. Daniel shifts, and a guy my age materializes in his place. He's got jet black hair, thick eyebrows, and skin that's ghostly pale. Like his wolf, he's on the skinny side, though his body is lean and muscular. He starts to reach for something, and Father growls in warning. Relax, Patton. It's just a phone, Daniel says. He picks it up and tosses it so it lands at Father's paws. Father shifts too and keeps an eye on Daniel and Saf's father as he punches in Luna's number. He has the phone on speaker, and it rings twice before wolfsbane Luna's shrill voice comes on the line. Patton, I've had my man trying to reach you for a quarter of an hour, she snaps. Are you aware that you've been accused of kidnapping a minor? You're going to believe some lying rogues over me. Did they also tell you one of them is going around claiming to be Alpha? Yes, I am aware. The Luna sighs. Daniel Silver wishes to form the Silver Pack and has already asked to stand before the council. And you're letting him? As is the law. The Luna sounds bored. Now, can we get this matter settled? Put the girl, Saffron, is it, on the line. With all due respect, Luna, are you really going to believe the word of a rogue over one of your alphas? Of course not. It's pack law, Daniel shouts, his face turning red with anger. I've issued the challenge, and I demand to see Saffron, unharmed, as proof. He is right, Luna agrees. It is our law. This is absurd, Father snaps. Just put the girl on the line, Patton. It's as simple as that. She's not here. She's probably in on it, Father growls. She's not, I shout, then realize Luna can't hear me over the link and shift. Daniel's lying. He did something to her, I know he did. I advance on him, but Mother and Beta block my path. She's my mate, Luna. We'd never hurt her. Saf's father lets out a shocked yelp, and Daniel's jaw drops. Lies, he shouts. Why is this the first I'm hearing of it? Luna demands. Because he's lying, and I've had enough, Daniel shouts. I challenge you, James Patton, for taking John Thompson's daughter against her will. If I don't see her unharmed within the hour, we will fight. Do you really think you can defeat me, pup? Father laughs. I could beat up the likes of you in my sleep. Then you accept my challenge? James, Mother cries, please. I'm sorry, Anna. I don't think I have a choice. Chapter 119. I want the entire pack here to witness this, Daniel shouts, his voice echoing across the clearing. I will not have them questioning my rights to be Alpha. You don't have any rights, I shout back. I'm the future Alpha. Once I've beaten your father, you'll have your turn. Daniel chuckles. Not that you stand a chance, pup. How dare you? I try to push past Beta, but he and Mother form a tight barrier, not letting me through. I'm not the one hiding behind his mommy, am I? Daniel taunts. My anger spikes. With a cry of outrage, I ram into Beta, shoving him aside. I manage to get within reach of Daniel, barely, when Father wraps one strong arm around my waist and yanks me back. Let me at him, I cry, trying to break free. Daniel starts to laugh at my struggles, only enraging me further, and I see red. Cease this at once. Luna's shrill voice cuts through my anger and makes me freeze in my place. You are behaving like children. Sorry, Luna, I quickly respond, and a split second later, Daniel echoes my words. Just then, a gust of wind blows through the clearing. I catch a whiff of Daniel's scent and instantly forget all about Luna's order. I'm going to kill you, I scream, trying to pry Father's arm off of me. I said stop. The Luna gasps in outrage. Logan, no, Father shouts. There's panic in his words, fear that I've disobeyed the Luna, but I'm too far gone to process it. Logan Patton, you stop this at once, Mother issues the order. Her voice is laced with authority and makes me freeze, but it doesn't stop the words from spilling. He was there. During the rogue attack. I cry, pointing at Daniel's smirking face. His scent was all over the scene. All over Saf. What? Father gasps, letting go of me in his shock. I take full advantage. The moment I'm free, I lunge at Daniel, but Father manages to recapture me before I can land my first blow. 2 cents hit me, and I focus on the other one, the one belonging to Saf's father. He's backing away, probably about to make a run for it, but I don't recognize his scent, so I let him go. I don't care about him, it's Daniel I want, and revenge. Daniel's scent hits me again, making me flash back to Saf's bleeding, battered body, to Jasper kneeling over Zara, tears streaming down his face. You bastard. Stop this at once, Luna snaps, her voice filled with outrage. I won't repeat it. Sam, take him, Father orders, and suddenly, his arms are replaced by beaters. I feel myself getting dragged backwards while Father takes a step toward Daniel. Mother, who's already in wolf form, moves to stand beside him and catches the scent first. You. She shouts over the link, baring her teeth as she prepares to attack. How dare you go after our pack? You think you can just attack us and then challenge me? Father shifts into wolf form. The phone clatters from his fingers and crashes onto the grass, muffling Luna's ensuing shout. I shift so I can join my parents, and as my shape changes, Beater loses his grip. I feel the freedom for a split second, and then he moves to block my path. He starts herding me back like he thinks I'm a sheep or a little kid, and I bare my teeth in a show of aggression. I've never dared aim at Beater before. Let your father take care of this, future alpha, Beater whispers softly. We've trained you for this. Put your emotions aside and think of your pack. My pack. My duty. They're lessons that have been drilled into me since I was a pup, and I know they're just as much a part of Beater. He'll protect the heir to his death, just like I know it's my duty to defend myself. I must survive at all costs and lead the pack to future victory. I know all this, but it's not an easy task. The moment Daniel speaks, my desire to murder him starts to grow. I try to console myself with the fact that I'll get to watch my parents destroy him, but it's still a poor substitute. You dare shift and attack me? Daniel cries. My parents ignore him. Their growls form a symphony that echoes in tandem with the whimpers made by Saf's cowardly father. I watch them tense, ready to pounce, but even then, Daniel doesn't shift. I've issued a challenge, he shouts. By pack law, it must be honored. How dare you all ignore me? Luna's voice rings from the ground behind Father. Do you want a war on your hands? My parents freeze, their growls replaced by panicked looks. The Luna has every living wolf behind her, every pack across the land to back her up in a war. Father shifts back into his human form, but his scowl is mutinous. For a second, I worry he might actually disobey the Luna, but he keeps his tone respectful when he speaks. That bastard took Jess. Zara's in a coma, she may never wake up. And his scent was there. He picks up the phone and clenches it in his hand so tightly his knuckles turn white. I demand justice. His lying. The outrage in Daniel's voice matches Father's. I had nothing to do with those rogues. We have proof, I cry. We have, his scent was there, Luna. Father shouts over me since the Luna can't hear my words. He vibrates with barely suppressed rage, and Mother moves to stand by his side. I don't even know you. Why would I attack your scent? Was there. Father punctuates each word with a step until they're almost nose to nose. Liar. Daniel tenses, preparing to shift. Then, Saf's father whimpers in fear, and Daniel stiffens. He stays human, but father doesn't. With an outraged cry, he drops the phone and shifts again, causing Daniel to start backing away quickly. James, please, mother cries, biting at his scruff and trying to pull him back. I issued the challenge, Daniel cries, and pack law dictates. Screw pack law, father shouts over the link. You wouldn't dare break pack law, Luna replies as if she somehow heard him. I know it isn't possible, but a shiver still travels down my spine. The challenge stands. Thank you, Luna. Daniel has the audacity to smirk at father. James, mother whispers in warning, and after a moment's hesitation, father shifts back. You will let him challenge me after what is done? There will be an investigation. Luna's voice is calm, as if we're talking about the weather and not a man's life and a pack's entire future. Daniel Silver, if you make it out of this challenge alive, you will stand trial against these accusations. My men are already on the way. I understand, Daniel says calmly. If you were to turn yourself in now, I'm inclined to be lenient. The Luna's voice turns sweet and grandmotherly, then transforms into something cold and harsh. If you're found guilty, the consequences will be far greater. I'm innocent. Daniel looks so serious when he says it that if I hadn't smelled his scent with my own nose, I might believe him. Anna, James, as is our law, either of you may accept the challenge. You may also pass the title down to your son. If you make him alpha, the challenge, too, will be passed down. She lets a few seconds pass in silence. Which of you will accept the challenge? I will, father declares, placing a protective hand on mother's collar. She nuzzles into it in a show of affection and support and moves closer until she's pressed up against his leg. Very well then, gentlemen. Let's get this over with. Patton, I wish you the best of luck. She pauses, then adds. You too, Silver. Chapter 120 Logan POV The challenge will commence at sunset, the Wolfsbane Luna states. She then whispers something in the background, presumably to someone else in the room. I'll have Jane set up a video call. Yes, grandmother, the young girl replies in the background, her voice faint but clear. As you wish. Father gestures toward the house. Silver, follow me. You think I'm stupid? I'm not setting foot on your land. Daniel spits, rolling his eyes. We will fight right here. You will not. A vein on father's forehead starts to pulse. It reminds me of the way Saf blushed when she called him the pissed-off wolf, and I feel a wave of anger and pain. I want to punch Daniel in his ugly, smirking face, but now that I've calmed down enough to think clearly, I know it's not an option. Openly defying the Wolfsbane Luna isn't the equivalent of having a death wish. It's way, way worse. It would doom our entire pack and everyone I love, my parents, my friends, and Saf. I can't do that, so instead, I start to edge backwards into the cover of trees. We will fight on packland. Father's shout masks my steps, not here where any human could just pass by. With all due respect, Luna, Daniel shouts back, this sounds like a trap. The challenge should take place on neutral ground. Neutral ground? Luna snaps. What do you think this is? The Great Werewolf War? Patton, give him safe passage. I give you my word, father spits. As Alpha, I vow that no harm will come to you, Daniel Silver, on Packland. At least, not until the challenge. Then, I will cause so much harm you'll wish you never started this. I'll destroy you, Patton, Daniel snaps back. I will, what about me? Mr. Thompson suddenly squeaks. He's trembling with fear, trying to hide behind Daniel's lanky frame and doing a poor job of it. What about you, Thompso? Father snaps. You can stay out here for all I care. She's my daughter. Then come watch. I'll grant you passage, too. Thank you. He bows his head. Let's go. Father turns to me. I've managed to get a good distance away from everyone, but I instantly freeze. Father doesn't seem to notice. Logan, go to my office at once. Grab my tablet and set up that video call with Jane. What about Saffron? I cry. I can't just do what I tell you. He gestures for me to get moving. But I said now, Father snaps. We'll have plenty of time to look for her after I win this challenge. Father scowls at Daniel, who scowls right back. I look between them. Father is half a head taller than Daniel and has twice the muscle, which doesn't matter much since the challenge will take place in wolf form. Since Father's the biggest, strongest wolf in the pack, much larger than Daniel, the outcome should be obvious, but something about Daniel's smirk and his lack of concern still worries me. Caitlin, go with Logan in case he needs help. Mother adds gently. She tilts her head to the left, gesturing subtly at the clearing, and my eyes widen. What are you waiting for? Father snaps, and I shift and break into a run. I race for the house, giving it my all. Caitlin follows, but she's slow and soon falls behind. When I can no longer hear Father and the others, I skid to a stop and let Caitlin catch up. Get the tablet to Father and cover for me. I'm pretty sure that's not why Mother sent her with me, but I can't take Caitlin to look for Saf if she'll only slow me down. Where are you going? Caitlin cries as I veer to the left. Her paws hit the ground as she races in pursuit. To find Saffron. I leap over a log, blocking my path. Logan, wait, Caitlin calls, scrambling to catch up. There's no time. Just go back and cover for me. I take off, circling around the others before I finally return to the spot where Daniel and Saf's dad had been waiting. The clearing is empty and quiet. If it weren't for the scent still lingering in the air, I would think the whole thing never happened. I start sniffing around, searching for traces of Saf's scent. It doesn't take long, and I race in pursuit, only to suddenly gag. Right where Saf's scent should be, the path is broken up by a puddle of wolf urine, Daniel's urine. A blatant attempt to mask her trail. I growl and circle around the mostly dry puddle. Saf's scent should be on the other side, but when I get there, I only smell Daniel. It's like she disappeared into thin air, which proves what I've been suspecting all along. He did something to make sure she wouldn't stop this challenge, that he's planned this all along and actually expects to win. I howl into the sun and race across the clearing. I catch Daniel's trail, leading me back to the spot where he intercepted us. From there, I follow the path left by him and Saf's dad, heading west. It isn't long before I find their clothes. Dark wash jeans, a black, sleeveless tank, and Converse shoes that reek of Daniel next to khaki shorts, a stained white t-shirt, and flip-flops that clearly belong to the old man. I shift, checking the pant pockets for clues, but there's nothing there, no wallets, no phones, not even keys. All I see is a trail of footprints and broken branches leading up the hill toward the main road. I can hear cars rushing past, and with a grunt of disgust, I reach for Daniel's jeans. They're tight to the point of discomfort, and his tank reeks of him, but it's not like I can waltz into town in wolf form, or naked. I need shoes, too. Daniel's are tiny, so I grab the flip-flops that belong to Saf's dad and carry them in my hand. Then, I break into a run. It's an uphill climb to the highway, but at least the trail of their slipping, sliding feet and broken branches is easy to follow. It gets more difficult once I've reached the highway, where the shoulder is littered with stones and the path they took is impossible to make out. I squat and sniff around before slipping on the flip-flops and breaking into a jog. I follow the direction they take, squatting down every minute to make sure I'm on the right track. Daniel's jeans dig painfully into my abs each time I bend down, but I ignore the discomfort and keep going. The sun beats down on me, and I pray to the moon goddess that it'll stay high in the sky even as I wipe away the sweat. I'm not sure what time in the afternoon it is, but I know that with every passing second, sunset is getting near. Several more minutes pass before I reach a dirt road just off the main highway. An SUV is parked diagonally across the path, with the passenger door thrown wide open. A woman is circling it, her long red hair flowing down her shoulders and past her waist. Her long, yellow dress flutters in the wind, but her gaze remains glued to the ground as she searches for something I can't see. Chapter 121 Mrs. Jones? I call out in surprise. What are you doing out here? Logan? Amaryllis's mom's head snaps up. Thank the goddess. Did you get my text? Riley's missing. I couldn't reach your parents or Beta. I didn't know what else to do. Rogues, I spit, and her face goes pale. I quickly sum up everything that's happened, then add, the challenge starts at sunset. Oh no. We don't have much time. She falls to her knees. These scents, are they the rogues? I'm really hoping it's just some pack kids. I think she's having some sort of nervous breakdown until her words register. I bend down next to her, grimacing when Daniel's jeans dig painfully into my belly. I take a tiny breath, trying not to inhale too much air, and the disgusting smell of Daniel's sweat wafts in. It's on the tank I'm wearing and masks, everything else. There's also Saf's dad's scent on my shoes, but below that, on the gravel, their scents repeat. They were here. No. It's them. They have Riley. Mrs. Jones jumps to her feet. How do you know? Because she left clues. There. Mrs. Jones points at something on the other side of the road. She breaks into a run, hair and skirt flying, and my flip-flops click with each step as I race in pursuit. We stop in front of a crudely drawn arrow etched in the dirt by a wolf's paw. It points north, and Mrs. Jones bends down to give it a sniff. After a moment's hesitation and a curse aimed at Daniel's jeans, I do the same. It's Riley's scent, Mrs. Jones confirms. We have to go. She breaks into a run, jumps inside the SUV, and starts the engine. I barely have enough time to climb inside before she peels away. A cloud of dust forms around us as she veers onto the highway, and I slide sideways, crashing into the door. Seatbelt, Mrs. Jones yells, snapping hers in place. I barely manage to do up mine before the car suddenly swerves into the adjacent lane. Hold on, Mrs. Jones cries, hitting the gas. We race down the highway before she suddenly slams on the brakes and pulls onto the shoulder. There it is. What? I race after her. Mrs. Jones heads toward one of the trees and points at a series of broken branches just above eye level. Then, she breaks one off. She gives it a sniff and holds it up for me to smell. Amaryllis? I ask before the scent reaches me. Yes, and it means we keep going north. Mrs. Jones runs back to the SUV. How do you know? I ask once we're back on the road. Wait, does this mean the rogues didn't take her? I thought she left that arrow when they grabbed her. No. She's following them on foot, leaving clues. It's part of a game we used to play. What game? I frown as Mrs. Jones suddenly veers off the highway again without signaling and slows the car to a crawl. Kind of a scavenger hunt, hide and seek, she says absently as her eyes scan the trees. Look. I shout when I spot another series of broken branches. Is that it? Good eye. Mrs. Jones brakes, and we jump out of the car and race toward them. North, she cries, smelling one of the branches to confirm it has Riley's scent. Then, we're off. We repeat the same pattern 3 more times before we reach city limits. Factories come into view, and smoke fills the air. There aren't many trees around, just paved roads between abandoned buildings, and Mrs. Jones pulls into the nearest lot. Mrs. Jones grabs her phone from the car mount, and we jump out of the car. Are we looking for another arrow? I ask. Yes, there. She runs up to a line in the dirt, a crudely drawn arrow pointing toward one of the buildings. Next to it is a paw print. Riley. We make sure the arrow has her scent before following it down an alley that leads to a second arrow and then a third. Finally, we reach a closed metal door. The dirt in front of it has been smoothed out, as there had once been an arrow there that someone erased. We lean down to smell it, and then both simultaneously gasp. The ground reeks of rogues. Not just Daniel, but others, too. I count a total of 5 scents, and Mrs. Jones turns to me with wide, panicked eyes. She points at the door handle, and I shake my head no. We're in front of an abandoned-looking 1-story warehouse. The windows have been boarded up, and someone has spray-painted swear words all along the walls. It looks harmless, but my gut tells me it's a trap. Someone or multiple someones grabbed Riley, and we're next. The scent also means that there's a good chance that Saf's here. There's no other reason for Amaryllis to follow the rogues all the way here and leave us clues. And if my mate's in there, then I'm going after her. I raise a finger to my lips, gesturing for Mrs. Jones to be quiet, and then point at the cell phone she's got clutched in her hand along with her keys. Send the Wolfsbane Luna an SOS with our location, I whisper. My heart thumps in my chest as I get to my feet. I'm going to look around. Mrs. Jones nods, eyes wide with panic. She hunches over her phone and unlocks it with trembling fingers. Leaving her to it, I walk silently alongside the building and then turn a corner. Just in time, too, because a split second later, I heard shouts. Over there, a man shouts. Hand me your phone. Now. I know he's talking to Mrs. Jones, and I pray to the moon goddess that she's had enough time to send that SOS now on your feet. I can hear her getting up, but then there's just silence. I can't see what's happening, but I don't dare peek around the corner. Not when there's a chance I'll be seen. So I hold my breath and wait. Who's Riley? The man demands. My daughter, Mrs. Jones replies, her voice quivering. Must be the red wolf we captured earlier, another guy says over the link. Don't worry, you'll join her soon. My gut clenches at his ominous tone. On your feet. Is there anyone else with you? No, Mrs. Jones lies. It's just me. She's telling the truth, sir. I'm not picking up any other scents, the second man adds, and I picture him in wolf form, sniffing the ground for clues. Except, if he is in wolf form, shouldn't he be able to smell me? I knelt on the ground right next to Mrs. Jones, and my jeans were coated in grime and dirt to prove it. I stare down at them in confusion when it suddenly clicks. Everything I'm wearing reeks of Daniel. This means that the scent I left behind isn't mine, it's his. Chapter 122 Saffron POV. I stare longingly at the burger that the guard is holding out. How long has it been since I've eaten? Hours. Days. When I woke up, Luna hadn't brought anything to eat. All she'd had was that embarrassing book. I hadn't even been hungry at the time, but I am now. My stomach growls in protest, but I've skipped enough meals not to let it bother me. In the winter, when the money jar was empty, and I couldn't hunt up any meat, we'd had no choice. I hold on to that thought, ignore the hunger pangs, and focus on escape. The guard has no sense of self-preservation, not with the way he's reaching into my cell. His arm is almost up to his shoulder as he tries to get me to take that burger. It would be so easy to break it and then twist it until he begs for mercy. Would that be enough to get him to unlock the cell door? Or would the other guard stop him? The temptation to try is almost too much, but it's not just my life on the line. I have Jess and Amaryllis to worry about, too, not to mention the entire pack. If I screwed up our escape attempt, I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Not if something were to happen to Logan or his family. I'm not going to hurt you, the guard says gently, completely oblivious to the fact that I'm the one who could hurt him. He gives me a kind smile, and I see my opportunity. I grab the burger and then sink into myself and start to tremble. Sympathy fills his gaze, just like I intended, and I struggle to mask my triumph behind the false fear. Hey, Kyle, maybe you should give her some space, the skinny guard chimes in. Saffron, there's nothing to be afraid of. Robbie's right, Kyle agrees, pulling his arm out from between the cell bars. We'll protect you. It's all I can do not to roll my eyes. I stay huddled as Kyle gets to his feet and grabs the bag of food from Robbie. He takes out another burger and heads toward Jess's cell. I hope she doesn't do anything stupid. The way Kyle's sticking his arm into cells, he's practically begging for it, and I hope Jess has the common sense to resist. I hold my breath, but it turns out I have nothing to worry about. Instead of squatting down and handing Jess a burger, Kyle tosses it to her like she's a rabid animal. Has she already broken someone's arm in a botched attempt to escape? I grimace as the burger lands in Jess's cell with a plop and picture it sliding across the dirt floor. A second later, there is the crinkling of the wrapper, an indication that Jess must have picked up the burger. I imagine at least some of the dirt has gotten inside the wrapper, but it doesn't sound like Jess cares. She chews loudly, moaning like it's the first decent piece of food she's had in days. The worst part is that that's probably true. I barely stifle a growl as Kyle passes my cell on his way to Amaryllis. How dare he treat Jess like this? I'm so tempted to reach out and slam his head into the metal bars of my cell. It wouldn't cause any permanent damage and definitely wouldn't get us out of here, but I could make him suffer. It wouldn't help Logan or POW or my new pack, but it would be satisfying. I sigh and stay rooted in place. Kyle takes out another burger, but instead of giving it to Amaryllis, he starts to unwrap it. Then, he tosses it to her, and I cringe at the thought of the bread and meat and toppings all falling in the dirt. Amaryllis must, too, because I don't hear any slurping. "Can I have more?" Jess cries. Kyle grumbles but tosses her another wrapped burger. "Just slow down before you throw it back up." By the sound of it, Jess doesn't pay any attention. She eats loudly, sighing periodically. "Aren't you going to eat?" Kyle asks me, and I stare down at the burger suspiciously. "Look, it's not poisoned or anything. We're not here to hurt you." His words only make me more suspicious because I'm ashamed to say the thought of poison never crossed my mind. Now, it's all I can think about. Kyle seems to realize that, too, because he takes out a burger and starts to unwrap it. "Here, watch." "Wait." I get to my feet just as he's about to take a bite and approach the bars. I do so cautiously so he thinks I'm scared of him, and extend the burger. "Trade?" "Sure." Kyle chuckles. "You're a smart one, just like he said." "Like who said?" "Never mind that. You'll find out soon enough." "Find out what?" I frown. "Hey, Kyle," Robbie interrupts. "Should we maybe get her some clothes?" I realize he's talking about Amaryllis, who's still in wolf form. "Why does it matter?" Kyle groans. "Please." Amaryllis whispers over the link. Then, more loudly, "Please, Kyle? You can't expect her to eat off the floor like some animal," Robbie adds with a shudder. "Yeah, fine, whatever." Kyle shakes his head. "I'll be back. Do not move while I'm gone." Since we're all locked behind bars, I'm assuming he means Robbie. It takes a second before he realizes it, too, and nods. "Sure things." "Oh, and here." Kyle pulls out his phone and slaps it into Robbie's hand. "In case the boss calls." Kyle's footsteps recede down the hall, and my mind starts to race. How do I convince Robbie to unlock the cell door? I take a bite of my burger while I think. It's actually not bad, and I tell Robbie so. Better than the stuff we usually get. Robbie settles down on the floor cross-legged, facing me, and unwraps a burger. I'm so tired of meat lovers pizza. Yeah, I'm not a fan of pizza either, I lie. Nah, don't get me wrong. I love pizza, but having it 3 times a day. You'll hate anything. You eat pizza 3 times a day? That doesn't sound healthy. It's not, but it's what Alpha likes. You mean Kyle? I ask, even though I already know that Kyle's no alpha. He doesn't have that same air of command that POW has, for one thing. That and Jess mentioned an alpha Daniel. Not Kyle. Robbie starts to laugh, but then the phone Kyle handed him rings, and he abruptly stops. Oh, shit. Hello. I can't hear whoever is on the other line, but Robbie suddenly goes a little pale. Can't you just bring her down here? He pauses and frowns. I can't. I have to wait for Kyle. Pause. No, he went to grab some clothes for the girl. When he's back, yeah, okay. Fine. Yes. Everything okay? I ask Robbie when he hands it up. I try to look sympathetic and not like I'm digging for information. Yeah. They wanted my help up there, but if I'm not here when he gets back, Kyle will have my head. So he's like, your boss? I ask. It's not like that. Robbie shakes his head. Really? I ask. Do you both work for someone? Some rogue or something? No. I shouldn't say anything, but, he hesitates. Look, we're the good guys, okay? Good guys. Jess shrieks, making Robbie grimace. Are you kidding me? You assholes kidnapped Jess, I snap, be quiet. Jess instantly goes silent. Would you look at that? Robbie grins, don't know how you did it, but thanks. She's been driving us insane with her constant shrieking. I suddenly want to strangle Robbie, and I wait for Jess to chew him out. Instead, she just whines pitifully. It makes me want to strangle Robbie even more, and I take a deep breath. Jess is obviously staying quiet so we can get out of here, and I need to focus on that. Hey, Robbie, I hesitate, staring down at my feet. I kind of need to pee. Now. Robbie shakes his head. Please. I've been trying to hold it in until Kyle got back, but I give him my most pitiful look. Shit. Robbie shakes his head. If I let you out, Kyle is going to kill me. I know. But I really gotta go. I dig my nails into my palms, and my eyes fill with tears. Oh man, don't cry. If I take you to the bathroom, can you be really quick? If Kyle gets back and we're not here, he'll have my head. Okay. I'll only take a minute. I promise. Okay. Robbie nods. He pulls out a set of keys from his pocket and unlocks my cell. Then he pulls out a gun and trains it on me. Okay, just hold out your hands where I can see them, okay? It's not that I don't trust you, I just want to be careful. Of course. I raise both hands and step out of the cell. Chapter 123 Saffron POV. I keep my hands over my head but bend them at the elbows slightly, bringing myself closer to a fighting stance. I've had a lot of practice in hand-to-hand combat with Dad, but this time is different. It's the first time I'm not alone, the first time I feel that my wolf is with me. Thankfully, the two of us are on the same page, and the idea of mating doesn't even cross her mind. The only thing she cares about, the only thing we care about, is escape. Robbie gestures for me to exit the cell, and I try to look innocent as I step forward. I keep my arms relaxed so that he thinks it's a show of surrender and not attack. Meanwhile, my wolf stays alert and on the ready. She focuses my attention on the gun that Robbie has trained on us and makes sure I notice when he slips his keys into his back pocket. I can feel her tensing, too, as we get closer to freedom, ever aware of Robbie's raised weapon. It's just this way. Robbie gestures to the left with his chin. It's clear that he wants me to go first, but the direction he's chosen is the opposite of the one that Kyle took. I didn't even think there was anything past Jess's cell, and for the first time, I wondered if this might be a trap. Is Robbie setting me up? Does he plan to shoot me and say it was self-defense? Or maybe he has some other sinister plan in mind? I glance at him, but aside from looking a little nervous, he looks pretty innocent. He's not leering at me or anything like that, and I don't see malice in his eyes. There could really be bathrooms in that direction, or there might not be. I glance at the gun as I exit my cell. Robbie's got the muzzle trained on my chest, so I know better than to make any sudden movements. Not yet. My wolf stays hyper-aware, waiting for an opportunity. When Robbie lowers his gun slightly so he can close the cell door, she propels me into action. I move so fast that my lips part in shock. I wonder if Robbie's does, too, but I'm too focused on the gun to pay attention. I grab his wrist and twist it until he lets go. The gun crashes to the dirt floor and bounces safely to land a short distance away. Robbie whimpers in pain, but I continue to twist his wrist until I have his arm locked behind his back. I do everything just like how Dad taught me, only faster. My foot shoots out next, my muscles reacting before my brain has a chance to catch up. Next thing I know, Robbie's falling face first onto the dirt floor, and my wolf is howling with satisfaction. I maintain a grip on Robbie's arm and scramble onto his back. Then, I press my knee roughly between his shoulder blades, and Robbie howls in pain. Quiet, I hiss as his cry echoes down the hall. Don't move. Don't make any noise. I pull on his arm roughly to show him that I mean business. Robbie doesn't even whimper, he just nods his head wildly. The only indication that he might be in pain is his ragged breathing, and I loosen my grip slightly. For a few seconds, no one makes a sound. Then, Jess inhales sharply and whispers, "I've never seen anyone move so fast." That was epic. I realize that I've pinned Robbie literally right in front of her cell. When I look up, she stares back at me with red-rimmed eyes that are wide with shock. There are black spots beneath them, suggesting a lack of sleep, and her skin is deathly pale. Her blonde hair, usually silky clean, is matted and caked with dirt. She looks so much skinnier than I remember, too, in the cargo pants and dirty white t-shirt, one of the guards must have given her. I want to run over and hug her, but she's still locked behind bars. Focusing on that and setting her free, I reach into Robbie's back pocket to grab the keys. He doesn't move a muscle or struggle, and I easily retrieve them and toss them to Jess. Do you have the keys? Amaryllis whispers, her words filled with hope. Yeah. Which one is it? Jess looks over the dozen or so keys. Which key opens the cell? I demand, digging my knee harder into Robbie's back. Silver one. He grunts in pain. That's like half of them. Jess groans, grabbing a random key and trying it. The key ring jingles, and the key clangs loudly against the cell door. I keep a hold of Robbie while Jess stands up on tiptoe so she can reach her hand out of the cell to try and unlock the door. I consider letting Robbie up so he can do it, but I don't want him to be in a position where he can fight back. Even if I dive for the gun, there's a chance he can disarm me, so I leave it up to Jess. My heart hammers in my chest, getting faster with each passing second. It feels like forever before she finishes trying the first key and finally moves on to the second and then the third. What the hell? Someone suddenly shouts from down the hall. His voice echoes from the direction Kyle took earlier, but the voice is too guttural to belong to the stocky guard. I swivel around, keeping my knee firmly in Robbie's back as I take in the giant at the other end of the hall. He's so tall that his bald head nearly reaches the ceiling. He's also almost as wide as the hallway and looks like he weighs about 300 or 400 pounds. Most of that is muscle, and his t-shirt shows off huge, tanned biceps covered with tattoos. You'd think all the snakes and spiders and skulls, not to mention his sheer size, would make him tough, but the giant looks terrified. He's got a death grip on his gun, and his beefy hand shakes uncontrollably as he raises it. His chunky thumb trembles just above the safety, and his eyes dart to the woman next to him. She's not another guard. Not in the long, flowing dress that looks like she just got back from a picnic. The giant's got a death grip on her shoulder, and she lets out a yelp and grimaces in obvious pain. There's something familiar about her, and when our eyes meet, it clicks. She's an older version of the girl I sat across from in the cafeteria. Her eyes are the same shade of ice blue as the ones that had looked up from the book. She also has the same long, flowing red hair and pale, freckled skin. There is no doubt in my mind that she's Amaryllis's mom. On your knees, the giant shouts at her. He shoves her forward with more force than is necessary, and she crashes to the ground and slides painfully across the floor. Hands on your head. Now. She scrambles to obey, even as her face contorts with pain. The way she barely manages to lift her right arm tells me that it's sprained or broken, but the giant doesn't look like he cares. He jerks his gun back and forth between us like he can't decide who to shoot first. Amaryllis's mom's face pales, and she stares at me with a mix of fear and regret. Her gaze darts to the row of cells, searching for her daughter, and then snaps back to me. I know what she's looking for, and I jerk my chin at the right cell. I can't see Amaryllis from here either, but her mom understands. Relief fills her face, but then something clangs loudly from the direction of Jess's cell. Who's there? The giant swings his gun toward the sound, his hands shaking wildly. I picture Jess trying to unlock the door, but I don't dare look. Not when it could give her away. Instead, I start to cough, masking the rather obvious jingling of keys that ensues. Stop that. The giant shouts. Get off him. Now. I've still got my knee on Robbie's back, and when the giant waves his gun, I scramble to my feet. I expect Robbie to tackle me or strike me in retaliation, but he doesn't move. He just keeps lying face down on the floor. What did you do to him? The giant cries. Why isn't he getting up? Is he dead? Did you kill him? You killed him, didn't you? No. I stare down at Robbie in confusion. He looks fine. His chest continues to rise and fall, and his eyes are wide open. His gaze is glued to the gun, which is just out of his reach. Except he makes no move to grab it. Don't move, the giant shouts, also spotting the gun. Don't move, or I'll shoot. I don't doubt that he'll do it, too. Beads of sweat pool on his forehead, and his eyes look wild and crazy. He jerks the gun from me to Amaryllis's mom and back again, his weapon turning progressively shakier. He looks like he might have a breakdown at any minute, and his next words reflect that. I didn't sign up for this. He shakes his head wildly. Robbie, get up, man. What are you doing? Get up. I sink into myself, giving him my best version of the Omega Act to calm him down. It should work, but he's too far gone. If anything, it makes things worse. Sweat rings start to form below his armpits, and sweat starts to pour down his face. He wipes at his forehead with the back of his free hand and wipes it on the side of his shirt. Then, he suddenly raises his other hand to the gun. He uncocks the safety and then, gripping it with two hands, he trains it on Amaryllis's mom.